And it's just you.
Alright, cool. What's up,
Go.
guys?
Now, if anybody says anything, that's the, if anybody says anything, I won't know. So, if you're wondering where I am, I'm right here. Boom, ta-da! Let me see. Let me see if I can get on, and if it doesn't interrupt what's happening. Me and Brandon here are by the fire, and we are live. Now it's on. Okay. Well, there's probably going to be a delay. If you type something, it'll be a little delay, but I can see it, so there we are. Oh, it popped up. It looks like it's trying to catch up. So if you see us looking down at the floor, that's because we might be reading a comment or something like that. How's that?
So how much of a delay do you think it is?
Well, you see it's been on the floor, so maybe 5-6 seconds. 5 to 6 seconds.
Okay.
So it's good to see Brandon. I'm always excited to see Brandon. I'll tell you what, something that happened a couple of days ago. There was a conference, a child care conference, and Les Brown was there.
Okay.
And one of my colleagues, he chose her. She's doing big. She's doing big things. Shout out to Jamila. She got selected to mentor with them.
Nice. That's
Free.
awesome. Free. Wow.
Les Brown, free. And the Tabasco sauce really went up. When I read that, not throwing shade on you at all, but I was, for maybe 5 or 10 seconds, I was jealous. I was why the heck, why can't something good happen to me? And then God slapped me.
Yeah.
And shook me a little bit, and he's like, you jealous? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And the thing that was happening, he was like, good things happen to good people, and be happy for her. I was just like, yes, I'm happy for her. And then he's like, look at your life. Are you doing good things? You are the good thing that's happening to good people.
Yeah.
So the way she feels about that moment is the way you make people feel in that moment. And that's what you should strive for.
That's good.
So I went from to, oh man, that is nice. I want to be able to do that for somebody and feel, somebody else gets that much excitement over there. Because from then on, I was like, that is the most awesome thing ever. Brandon would love that because
it's kind of like it's part of the Optimist Creed, and it's a long thing that I can't remember all of it, but I do remember one part of it, and it says, be as happy about the success of others as you are about your own. So it's kind of the same thing there, celebrating others for their successes and the great things happening to them. And the more that you're grateful for what's happening to them, the more that you're grateful for what's happening to you, the more great things are going to happen.
Yeah, so I'm expecting bigger and better things so I can be a blessing, because I'm so blessed I can actually be a blessing to others, and it's just not mine to hold on to, which is a good thing. I love having blessings, but it's not mine just to hold on to and to give. To put things in perspective, oh my goodness, on my way over here, I was listening to Brian Tracy.
Yeah.
And and he was talking about spending quantity time instead of quality time. And we spend quality time at work. We're trying to do what we can, get the most out of it, so we can actually have quantity time, even if it's just goofing off with my kids.
Right.
To have more of that is quality. And to have more of it is even better. So having quantity time is good. And to put things into perspective, oh my goodness. Listen to this.
All right.
And I was going through the scenario. He put it a different way, but I'm gonna put it this way because I was like, this might be a book. But just think of, say, North Korea shot off a nuclear missile at Georgia, and it's big, and it's gonna decimate everything. It's gonna vaporize everything, and you only got 60 minutes to live, and you know you got 60 minutes to live. There's no stopping it. There's nothing you can do about it, but you know you got 60 minutes to live. What do you do? Do you say, man, I need to make all the money I can, you know, or man, I got this one book report to finish at, but no, none of, everything, once you put it in that perspective, nothing matters. But
just
family.
I'm grabbing my family.
Grabbing family, having some laughs together, because you know, it's all going to be gone in 60 minutes. But what matters? And I'm just like, I spend, all this time trying to make money and trying to do this for other people and do this for other people and do this for myself and do all these other things that really don't matter.
Right.
If I only had 60 minutes, what matters? And if I take that and live by that, I'll have a full life.
For sure.
Hour by hour, minute by minute, really. So I was just like, man, what would people say? What would you say out there if you had 60 minutes, what would you do? If you have no family, what would you do? Would you just, I don't know, get on your computer and start surfing the internet? What would you do? How would you spend those last 60 minutes? Some people would just be like, oh, forgive me, Lord, forgive me, Lord, forgive me, Lord, for the next hour. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Nope, nobody said anything about that.
I remember before I went to college, I was talking to my brother. He's 8 years older than me. He went to college too. And I was asking him, I said, it feels weird. Like, these are the last few months I have with my parents. Like, what do I do? I was like starting to feel like almost guilty about it, leaving them, that kind of thing. And I just remember my brother David telling me, try to spend more quality time than quantity. Just enjoy the time you have together, make the most of it.
Make the most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes. It's easy to waste time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying before, having more quantity is a good thing, but making the best of what you got. What you want to do is, it's almost 20-80 rule. When you maximize that stuff that, kind of off to the side that will give you more time, then you have the quantity. But the time that you spend to make it count, that's going to make a difference in the world. It doesn't really do any good if I say, all right, everybody, we're all going to go walking, we're going to get some exercise in, and once we hit the trail, I won't speak to you for the next hour. What was the purpose of actually doing it together? You could have did that on your own, or I could have did it on my own. If I'm in my own little world and I don't even acknowledge that you exist for the next time and be like, man, that was a great workout. All right, see you next time. You miss it.
Right.
I won't say it's wasted because you were getting healthy, but it didn't really matter much. That was just quantity right there. But quality time is spending time talking and, laughing and, really sharing life together. And that's what we want more of. Well, it's the last quarter.
It's
the last quarter of this year.
Gotta hit it strong.
Yeah. So some of the things I was thinking of, we wanted to do some live events together. I wanted to do some motivation meetups.
Okay.
And to go around, it doesn't have to really be here at Statesboro because a lot of people that look at my things are not in Statesboro, but where we can get together we can do that. So we're going to plan something, I would say, maybe once a quarter.
Yeah. So 4 times a year.
4 times. Yeah. So let's look at December somewhere.
What's your vision of what these meetups will look like?
Well, what I want to do is just have a workshop where you can actually get something out of it. A lot of meetups happen where you just say, hey, I'm Jeff. I am here and I'm alive. And we want your passion and my passion is to see people elevated. I mean, just to lift people up. So I don't want to preach, but I do want to have something, I guess, theme-based. So if it's a workshop on just on family, being together, or just getting your mind right to have that entrepreneur spirit of I'm gonna work for myself, or I got this side hustle that I'm gonna really do good at because this is what I enjoy. Enjoying the time, making really building yourself up. So equipping people, I guess. And I know you're about the same. What you see?
I think it goes back to the mindset thing.
Mindset, okay.
Like what you were saying, trying to give them the business entrepreneur mindset, but along with that, the mindset of, how to overcome their limiting beliefs and things like that. Because many times, the only thing that's holding us back is us.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to Dr. Joyce Brothers a long time ago. That's how old I am. I'm old. But I was listening to her, and she was saying, this lady called in, and she was like, I'm having this problem, I hate this town, I hate my life, I just don't want to die. And she was like, why don't you move? And she said, move? Well, I can't. And she was like, why? You hate everything. Move out of the town, start over. And she's like, she kept giving an excuse after excuse. She's like, you want to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
If you hate it that much, move. And what's holding you? And I think about that too. If I'm overcommitted and I'm doing this and I'm hating life and I'm doing everything, I'm kicking over, cars, and I'm just hating everything. Why? Why am I still here?
Mm-hmm. I remember a quote from Les Brown, and he said, "People prefer known hells to strange heavens." And it's kind of weird. You got to think about it for a second, but people prefer to stick with their problems. They prefer to stick with their limitations. And another thing that Les says is that if you fight for your limitations, guess what?
You win.
You get to keep them.
You win. Yeah.
So that's another thing I always question and I'm always so surprised about is that when people don't like the situation that they're in, they don't do anything to change it.
Right.
And I think just in a recent podcast episode of mine, I was talking about why would you stay where you're at when there are simple, measures that you can take to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Just these small little changes that you have to make, and it's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah, I read about the small changes in your daily routine can affect the long term. So if you not happy where you are and you want to change your life, do it. Change your life. So nobody's going to do it for you. I hear that a lot too. Nobody's going to come and rescue you.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're just like praying, and Jesus sees the okay, I gotta intervene. But usually we're going through things for the experience points.
Yeah.
And if you don't like where you are, you can't change it. If I don't like this town anymore, if I just hate Statesboro, there's nothing holding me back from just moving. So what if I have to uproot everything? If I have to shut this down, I have to do this and that. Well,
So what?
What if you stay and stay miserable? You won't be doing any good for anybody if you're miserable, and you risk really be dragging them down. And we don't want that. We want to, uplift the spirit.
Life is all about growth and change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I teach even the kids. If you're flatline, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going down, you're deader. But if you're growing, if you're moving and you're growing, if you're adding value to yourself, you're living. You're even if it's I saw a snail, and you know, everything is going right by it. Mm-hmm. Even ants are crawling, going straight right by it, but it's moving forward. And for it in its mind, it's probably like, I'm making great gains. Even though everything is just going right by it, I'm making gains.
Yeah, doesn't matter how fast you're going, forward is forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As long as you don't turn around.
Yeah.
So that was a little thing. Community success, that's one of the things that I have on Facebook. I made it a closed group on purpose. I wanted only people to share in that group space. Mm-hmm. But I've been looking at it, and this is why I've been running kind of slow on it. I've been taking it easy, and I've been looking at it. What I want to do is post. I post on a lot of social media, and it's all the same posts. But for the community of success, I want to post a little bit more in depth. So if I say, you know, have a great day, and just have a picture just saying, have a great day, and everybody likes that, that's great. For the community success, I want to say, have a great day, you know, put these steps in order to make it a great day, you know.
Just provide them a little bit more value.
Yeah. So what I'm doing, on my website, I have a link that says Community of Success, and that's going to be password protected. What I'm going to do on a Facebook group, I'm probably going to open it up. Let that be open, so if people want to post or anything like that, they can.
Wait, so does the link on your website go to the Facebook community?
It's going to be totally different, a separate link.
Okay.
And it's going to have blog. It's almost going to be its own website.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's going to be
membership.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's going to be subscription based, and one of the things that I wanted to do, and I know you're good at this too, how to make $20 work for you. What can you do with the $20? Because I know a lot of people, they'll have money, broke as all get out, but then you know, it's like, what you eat for dinner last night? Oh, I had McDonald's, and then I went for ice cream after. Yeah. But you broke. Well, you know, I was like, where you get the money for that? I just had it. Of course you did. So putting that priority to make the money work for you, what we do is we get money and we spend it instead of making it work for us so we can have more. So that's one of the workshops that I would love to have too, is to see some proven things that work. So even if it's taking $20, buying something for $10 and selling it for $20, you still have a $10 profit, and that $20 worked for you.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like Gary Vee's 2018 Flip Challenge.
Hey, yeah. If it's the smallest little thing.
Yeah. The
smallest little thing, or even there was a show, it's like how to live off of $20, or you know, it has like on travel they have like dinner on a dime or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Making money work for you, even if you have to spend it. A lot of times you do have to spend it, but if you spend it for pleasure, it's gone.
Right.
But if you spend it to make it work for you, you'll have more to make work for you, to have more to make work for you. So we want to keep that going.
Yeah, you can't have a lack mindset around money.
No. It don't like that.
Not at all.
No. It's gonna go find someone else that's gonna make it multiply. Thinking about money is kind of like water. If you have your hands open, it'll come and it'll flow through. It'll slip through there. But if you have your hands open like this, you can make it work. Yeah. But if you working with it like this, it can't come in and it can't get out. So a lot of times we get money and it's like, I'm gonna just put it in the bank and not do anything with it. That's good for interest, but that still won't do you any good if you say, I'm never gonna touch it. And then you need it. It's not working for its own, it's not working to build. You'll have it when you need it, but it won't do you any good. You'll end up still spending it.
Yeah.
So we want to make things work. What else? There was some other things. There's so much stuff. I should have wrote it all down. That's why I had to need my notebook. My notebook is at home. That part of the website, the meetups, I'm bringing some old things back. So like Car Chronicles.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Sydney might not be all excited about that, but I think at least if it's not Sydney and I, it'll be Tina. So Tina has a lot to say and things, so she's gonna get her moment in the sun. So we're gonna bring that back. That's why I call it a reboot and not just like Car Chronicles back, because they're in middle school now.
Wow.
And everybody's gone separate ways. This one goes to this school and this one goes to this school. It's like I can't just pick them up and sit in the parking lot anymore.
Right.
So, but I do want to have people. I want to bring back Feed Your 5,000, those stories.
Yeah,
which
cool.
This was the very first one that I did.
Was that 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it was 2 years in January. Man, that's cool. I want to bring that back, and to be amazing.
Yeah.
Pictures, because I know y'all don't want to see my pictures all the time, especially when I got hair like wild and everywhere. My friend, I had a visor like this and I had my hair like this. He was like, "That's a cool hat. It's got the little hair in the back of it." And I did like this, and he was like, "That's your hair!" So I'm like, yeah, I know I need a cut. I just hadn't got it cut yet. I usually cut my own hair, but it's getting a little bit too long. I'll end up being bald-headed. It's doing what it wants to do, gray and all. But what's going on with Brandon Poole? What's new? What's
new? I don't know. I've kind of gone back to the community of success thing. I know in my own Facebook group, Elevation Mastermind, I always try to ask, good questions. And one of the questions that I came up with recently, I think it was earlier this week or last week, and I thought it was a really good question. It was, what's the most powerful habit you have? And this has kind of been my thing lately, it's just habits.
Habits. I got a book from Goodwill. It's called The Power of Habit.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, if you're in Goodwill, you better look for at least one book. There's usually one book for 95 cents.
Oh, yeah.
Power of Habit for 95 cents. And that's an amazing book. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's really important to evaluate what our habits are, because our habits determine our happiness.
Okay.
So what do you think would be your most powerful habit?
My most powerful habit that I've gotten into that I love the most is actually listening to audiobooks almost any time that I have downtime. I mean, or I have time to listen to it. I don't play as much music as I used to. I've been just hitting audiobooks. Spending a lot of money. But those books, though, I mean, the stuff that you put into your mind, and it changes your behavior. It's just the way the habits do. Just being a habit. When you form a habit, your body just moves on its own. So, like, as soon as I get in a car, unless I feel like listening to some music, first thing's going to happen is going to automatically pull up a book and start going.
Right.
So, or talks. Like, one thing I love about Audible is that they have those series. They'll have a whole series. So if you have a club membership, what costs, like Les Brown might cost $53, and it's a library of Les Brown.
Right.
You get that for free. Well, you're paying monthly for it.
Right.
But so like a Les Brown, I have a whole Les Brown library of a compilation that they put together that it might be 12 hours long, something like that. And, you know, I got that for pretty much, what, $13 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
So one Zig Ziglar had a whole compilation. So I have the book, but to hear them talk is a lot better. So this is like programs, that they're putting out. And Brian Tracy is the one I'm recently listening to. But just getting in that habit of just listening to it, not just wasting time. If I have to sit there behind a computer screen and just typing away, instead of my mind just thinking about everything and getting down because I'm sitting behind a screen, I'm listening to a book. And that's just the habit. Your body just automatically just starts to function on its own. So the habits that he's talking about, thinking this way and doing this and uplifting other people and things like that, it just starts to become, you forming more habits. So when I see somebody that's in need, instead of man, that person's in need, and just keep walking, out of habit, my mind is already saying, hey, that person's in need, we need to go help. And it's not even a thought anymore. It's just, you just walk over there and do it.
Right.
It's not
muscle
like,
memory.
Yeah, it's not like, and getting involved with that one. Need to keep moving, keep looking that way. So
Now, do you ever listen to any podcasts?
Podcast, Brendan Poole, Innovation. Yours, let's see. I want to start my own. Ones I listen to the most, I listen to Shalene Johnson with Build Your Tribe, and who else? Listen to yours. There's one called the. You heard of 4 Hour Work Week? I think
Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss show.
Well, it's not. This is somebody who says.
Oh, is it Books of Titans?
No, this is totally different. It's obscure. It's in the middle. I think he's from New Zealand. It's like 3-month vacation.
Oh, okay.
And where it's kind of like Tim Ferriss's concept, but it's more of, okay, I'm working, doing what I love, but pretty much once a quarter, or it's 4-month vacation. But once a quarter, you can take a month off. So it's like it's a mindset thing. It's more of a mindset, and it's funny. It's what you call it, but I'm pretty sure it's not the most popular thing because like I found it by mistake.
Gotcha.
But I really liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked it. And Ziglar Company. I always liked Zig Ziglar. I kind of stopped doing podcasts when I got into audiobooks.
I trade off in between because audiobooks, especially if it's a info-loaded book, it can be a little boring at times. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to get anything out of this because I'm just going to zone out. So I'll pause that, go over to podcasts, and some of the biggest podcasts I follow, Mind Pump Media podcast, that one's really great, and that's everything from expanding your mind to how to build your body.
Okay.
So that one's really awesome. I listen to that one all the time, either when I'm working out in the gym or walking to class, anything like that. What are some others? Tim Ferriss show, as I mentioned before. Aubrey Marcus podcast, that one's really good. The On It podcast. Let's see. Oh, and Lewis Howes. Lewis Howes has a good podcast.
Okay.
The School of Greatness podcast.
Yeah, Lewis Howes. Tina listens to Russell Brunson. So she's a funnel hacker. And but there's a few other ones that she listens to. I don't know if they're just coaches or they actually have podcasts, but her favorite one is John Lee Dumas.
Yeah.
Which is on fire. I love that.
I met a guy in Atlanta. He's a life coach, and he was actually on their podcast.
Cool.
It was EO on Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Entrepreneurs on Fire. I like his concept is formatted, it's laid out, everything's always the same, but since you have a different guest, it's going to be a different take on it.
Mm-hmm.
So his questions are pretty much always the same. You know what to expect,
Right.
but you don't know what they're going to say. So it just sometimes it's just like exciting, and sometimes it's just like, man, informative. I like that. I was kind of thinking of trying to go that way with Feed Your 5,000 the things, but what I like about Feed Your 5,000 is just to let the other person talk,
Yeah.
to tell their story.
Mm-hmm.
So once they tell their story, it's nothing for me to really say. It's really their show.
Yeah. You're
I'm
just
I'm just
mediator.
letting them tell their story, and that there's a lot of great stories out there. Even from if you find a little kid, they can tell you some stories,
Mm-hmm.
especially what mom and dad did, it's things like that, or what they did at the fair and things. And everybody has a great heart, and the stories all intertwine, because if I pull a kid and then pull another kid after that story, you'll see their story kind of works together.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody from across town, I talk to them, their stories, because we're all in the same community. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. But yeah, I love podcasts. I was always on podcasts. That was like the number one thing until
I love them, man.
audiobooks.
I love them. I mean, like, and especially when you get more than just one person on the show. You get 2, 3, 4, even 5 people talking. It's a lot more entertaining than audiobook. I mean,
Yeah.
I love audiobooks too, don't get me wrong.
Oh, the thing about audiobooks, I'm kind of selective about the audiobooks. It has one of my things is it has to be read by the author. 'Cause if it's not read by the author, it's hard to get through. You're like, man, I just wasted this money. I wasted a whole credit just.
I remember listening to Grant Cardone's books, and he always does a good job of reading the books. Yeah. It's always entertaining to listen to him.
Plus, like you get 10x on Audible. It's a lot. It's a lot different because I always buy the book and the audio book, because it's one thing, you'll get something totally different out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, if I want to go back and highlight something, I can. But Grant Cardone with 10x, his little he adds a lot of stuff.
He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, even side notes. And that's what I find a lot of the audiobooks that's read by the authors. They'll add more to it than what's in the book. Because my favorite 2 books right now, favorite 2, and then I let you give yours. My favorite 2 books are 10x, the 10x Rule, and the Compound Effect. Compound Effect is by Darren Hardy from Success Magazine. And those books really work together. Compound Effect is not just like, you gotta get out there and you gotta do it. You gotta do everything, 10 times more than everybody else.
Right.
It has that in the background, but it's like, okay, once you do this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and it's gonna expand. This is gonna expand, this is gonna expand, and you're gonna be making things work for itself. Like the $20, like I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's not like taking $20 and say, I gotta make this $200 any kind of way, any way possible, which is a good mindset, but also making it work for you instead of you saying, I'm gonna do all I can to make $200 out of this 20. I'm gonna take this 20 and I'm gonna go door to door and ask for $5 until I get 200. That's one way to do it, but to actually make it work for you.
Right.
You're not spending so much energy, but you're doing 10 times more is what you were doing before. So those are my 2 favorite right there, and they work together. I hate buying books that I really like, then they contradict each other.
Yeah.
That's a bad thing. Then you don't know what to believe. What's your 2 favorite books?
So, I'll give you 3 books.
3 books.
2 books I've read. I need to go back and read them again, but these 2 books were, pretty big game changers. The first one everyone's probably heard of, Awaken the Giant Within,
Okay.
Tony Robbins.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is The Secret. And her name's leaving me right now, but do you remember her name?
The Secret. I can see the book in my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
It's got a little seal on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, The Secret, it's also a documentary on Netflix, so you can go watch it there. And so, The Awaken the Giant Within, that's just, it gives you a strategy,
Mm-hmm.
And then The Secret, it's all about mindset and changing how you see yourself. After I started, watching and rewatching The Secret, reading and rereading the book, it really helps me reprogram my mind to see myself differently in a new light. And then for the third book, Mask of Masculinity by Lewis Howes.
Okay.
And that one I recommend to everyone, not just the guys, but specifically the guys. But in his book, he talks about all the different masks that we wear as men.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Joker mask, the athlete mask. There's some other ones that are all our toxic masks that we put on because our ego gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can drop our ego and be vulnerable, be open to people, be genuine with people, that's when we can really start to see ourselves becoming happier and more fulfilled people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I took a course, and this is a family in Atlanta. It's from Tony Moore, and they're in Atlanta, and it was called Naked and Not Ashamed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about masks, and masks, the same as just a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So you say something that cuts me deep, I'm like, just put a Band-Aid on it, keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
And we got all these Band-Aids that are just, and we're all wounded, all scarred up on the inside, and the wrong person comes at the wrong time, and the Band-Aid comes off, we
yeah.
It's like, normally Jeff wouldn't kill people. He's a great guy, but something just happened and the mask came off.
Yeah.
Couldn't take it no more. It broke. The Band-Aid fell off.
Mm-hmm.
And you got all the blood that was coming out. And we have these we have long and short fuses, and we allow people just to keep at it and keep at it and keep at it. And, side. You said that, it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. But it's not all right.
Yeah.
And when the next person comes around, mistakenly falls in that same path, they get the full brunt of, the craziness. So, so I'm gonna check that one out, Lewis Howes.
Yeah. It breaks all the stereotypes that society places on guys. You shouldn't cry in front of other people. Never let them see you weak.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's always the typical one where guys should have sex with as many girls as they can in order to prove their masculinity, but it's not how it is.
No, because the statistic yesterday on CNN, oh my goodness, it said one out of 2 people get STDs. 1 out of 2.
That's a high percentage.
Yep. So everybody with 2 girlfriends, you in trouble. You are in trouble.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Changing the subject. But we want to grow and have everybody grow. Podcast is one way to do it. I love podcasts. I really love audiobooks, but not everybody's in audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
Reading books is hard to tell my kids, hey, read a book.
Mm-hmm.
and everybody around them playing Fortnite.
Do you ever increase the speed on your podcasts or audiobooks?
No.
I bump it up to like 1.2, 1.5, cranking out that information.
I can't imagine listening to Grant Cardone. But like I said, though, I mean, the more I listen to, the more time I have to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I've been making that a priority and a habit. So I've been just doing more and more and more of it. So that's the thing. It's really like I don't got time to listen to no book, but you got time to sit behind a video game. And you've been playing. It's like you've been playing Fortnite for the last 4 hours.
I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, "When do you listen to these podcasts?" I'm like, all the time. When I'm driving, when I'm walking to class, when I'm at the gym, making dinner. There's more time than you think.
Yeah. There's a lot. Everybody has 24 hours, and the successful people choose their 24 hours a lot different than the unsuccessful. And the unsuccessful usually spend their 24 hours doing unproductive things. That's what makes them unsuccessful. But, I mean, if you look at people who are successful and how they spend their 24 hours, they just spend it so differently than the normal person.
All right, well, most of it's taken up by sleeping too.
And, yeah.
People are sleeping 10 to 12 hours a day. I'm like,
how?
I mean, I can definitely sleep that long, but there's a lot to do.
My mind won't let me. I wake up after about 4 hours, like, oh, I forgot something. Yeah.
I can sleep a good solid 8 hours without waking up at all. And my head hits the pillow and I'm out.
I'm 20 years older than you. In about 20 more years, you'll have 20 more years of junk that you filled up with. Well, no, you're doing good. You're doing good. So you probably will be able to sleep at night. Right.
No, that's been one of the biggest things for me, and also teaching other people how to do. It's just like how to get a good night's sleep. I mean, most of the time people are on their phones up until 12, 1, 2, even 3 o'clock, and the blue light from that's keeping them up. And then, they get anxiety because they're not sure how they're going to handle the problems of the next day. But if they just took some time before they went to sleep to plan out the next day, create an action plan, and visualize how they want it to play out, that anxiety starts to, fade away, and you feel like you're in control at that point. You feel like, you can handle it.
Yeah. What I noticed that when you do that, like before I go to bed, I try to write out all my goals. And like you said, just kind of like, what's tomorrow gonna look like? What do I want to accomplish?
I don't want to be caught off guard. So
So what you're doing is actually forming Plan A. Yeah. And if everything is going, which it probably won't, but if everything is going according to plan, you're knocking it out of the park. Yeah. If you accomplish your top 3, you've done everything that you can, that you probably will do. And those little fires that happen, or the little gremlins that try to take over your life, she's like, whatever. I've already done everything that I'm going to do today. So what you got? What's going on? And you're ready. So the little people is like, hey, your house is on fire. It's like, okay, I got insurance, and I'm good. So then you know what? You got a flat tire out there. I don't know how to change a tire, or what am I going to do? What was me? I don't have $40 for a new tire. My life is over. When you got those things that happen to you, you just roll with it, because Plan A is everything, and you're doing it. Yeah. Everything that's like, hey, all this needs to be happening. I mean, you need to be worried about this. Why worry? Like, if you're gonna pray, why worry? Can you do anything about it? No. Why worry? Can you do anything about it? Yes. Do something about it, and don't worry.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. there's always a few habits that I tell people to do, you know, when they have trouble sleeping. I tell them to get blue blocker glasses, which I wear those.
Okay.
I don't like, you know, bring them when I'm traveling or anything like that, but if I'm at home, you know, I'll throw them on, and I can definitely tell a difference in my sleep and how I feel the next morning.
I haven't seen those in forever.
They used to be popular.
Before you were born.
They used to be popular, and then they went out of fashion, and then now they're back again. But
where'd you get them from?
I got them from Amazon.
Okay, Amazon. Well, you got an affiliate link?
I can post one.
So he's gonna post an affiliate link.
But yeah, the blue blocker glasses, those help a lot. And then, and also you can wear those during the day if you're on the computer all day long.
Mm-hmm.
That helps a lot because I can tell a difference when I'm on the computer, you know, 3 to 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Without the glasses, I start feeling fatigued, a little bit tired, sluggish. But if I wear those glasses, I don't really feel it as much.
Okay. I know I sit in front of the computer for 30, 40 minutes, and I have to take my glasses off.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is hurting, and I got to get up and walk while I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
Right there on the keyboard, just like that.
No, but the blue blockers, they really help you mimic the sunlight,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So when you wake up in the morning, you want the sunlight in your eyes. But then like later at night, when the sun goes down, you might want to put those glasses on. And that's how it's always been, right?
Okay, yeah.
So along with the glasses, there's also another like concoction that I like to make. I don't do it all the time because I don't have to, but this has worked for many people that have, what's it called? Where they can't sleep.
Insomnia?
Insomnia, yes. You mix 1 cup of, you know, warm hot water with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar and 1 tablespoon of honey.
Okay.
I don't know why it works, but it works.
That would clean you out too. That's like a detox.
Yeah. It feels good. I mean, it makes you feel a little better in the stomach too.
Yeah, I think that's a detox.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Never thought about doing a detox to go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
which would definitely settle your stomach. Because a lot of people just, when you have a hectic lifestyle, they'll eat and eat and eat.
Oh
and
yeah,
eat,
just eat junk.
and then go to bed.
Yeah, that's
It's
another
just sitting
thing.
there like this. And then you have crazy dreams.
Yeah.
Nightmares.
Yeah. That's another thing though, is what you eat. That determines how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was recently talking about this, I think like last week. You know, if you wanna change how you feel, if you're depressed, one of the first things to change is how you eat.
Okay.
And how you exercise as well, but most importantly how you eat. What you eat determines how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you're eating processed foods all the time, you're not going to feel too good.
No.
So and when you eat better foods for you, you can eat more of those foods. So you're not limited in how much you can eat.
One thing I told my kids, I post this every now and then, if you don't know what you're eating, your body probably does not know how to process it.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll either store it as fat, or it'll burn the wrong things and store it as fat.
Right. Well, for most people, their bodies burn, sugars and muscle first. But if you can retrain your body, to burn the fat first,
Mm-hmm.
that's
what usually happens if you have cardioglycinate or something like that, and you're eating it, and your body's like, what the heck is this?
and it's just
Store it as fat.
chemicals.
Yeah, store it as fat. Hey, we'll get to it later. And we have so much stuff. So if you have apple slices that's has all these preservatives in it,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what they are, it's not as healthy as just eating an apple.
Right.
And your body doesn't know what to do with it, and it's like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. I think it's an apple. It looks like one. And my daughter, she did a whole report on genetically modified organisms.
That's cool.
So she's like, we don't eat this. I'm like, you you eat GMO stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But you just don't know it. It's almost a part of your daily living now. So it's like, I was like, think, how many times have you gone out and you got a watermelon that doesn't have seeds in it?
Mm-hmm.
And you can buy it. But if you try to grow one outside,
it's not going to happen.
You can't. Unless you got a laboratory in your house. But, you know, just those things that we're feeding ourselves. This past month with Arbonne, we've done a clean 30-day challenge, which we didn't do the whole 30 days, but it made a difference in our lives. I'm like, I'm looking at everything now. I'm like, can't this just be whole? I mean, just whole foods. If you could just do whole foods, that's why I think Whole Foods is done so good. It's because they're just food instead of, you know, don't know food. What you're eating. Yeah, that's a bad thing if you think about all the chemicals that we actually ingest, and our bodies don't know it. It's almost like you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Or overworking your liver. I mean, it's sad to think about.
And another crazy thing though is like the bacteria in your stomach determines how you feel, and sometimes it can even determine like your personality almost. So this is gonna sound really crazy, but there was they did this back in like the early 1900s with depressed people, because depressed people back then, they were put into insane asylums. So what they started doing was feces transplants. Transplants, yes. So they took feces of a happy, healthy person and put it in the depressed person, and sure enough, they became happier. Yeah. And so now there's still people doing this, and even there was an Olympic. There's this girl that was in the Olympics, and something was going on. So they did this feces transplant with her and her cousin, and her cousin was just maybe like 20 pounds overweight. She ended up gaining 20 pounds because it affected the way that she was eating. The bacteria in her stomach, it made her crave certain things, changed how she ate.
I wouldn't recommend that.
I don't recommend it.
But I mean, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm not saying you should go out and try this.
I would hate to see even know what the process is to do that.
Well, now they put it in like capsules, so you don't even taste it.
That's what I was worried about, the process. Other than, hey, well, if you want to feel better, just hang out with that person.
Yeah.
And eat what they eat, do what they do.
No, the idea behind this is changing the bacteria within your stomach, changing the microbiome.
Okay. I mean that.
And you can do this by taking better probiotics, eating better food.
Yep. I mean, like I say, if you sit down and think about it, it's not that far-fetched.
It sounds really weird at first, but it's really not that weird.
Not weird, just gross.
Yeah. I wonder if they use anesthesia when they do this.
That's what I'm saying. I hate to know what the process for that is. I'll just be like, okay, that first one would be like, I'm good, I'm better, I'm the happiest person. See, I'm smiling. I'm good. Let me out.
Let me out of here. No, I just thought it was crazy that they were even doing this back in the early 1900s.
Well, I mean, just think about a lot of things that, like even before Jesus, like God was telling the Israelites, okay, you can't mix goat meat with milk, or something like that. And there's like, well, why would God say something like that? Well, milk coats your stomach, and you can't break down that meat. And he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
Now he didn't say, well, this will happen if you do this, and your body can't break down the because they wouldn't. It'd just be like, you got it anyway.
There was a book that my parents had read a while. This was years ago. It was called, I think it was Why Paul Didn't Eat Pork, or Why Someone Didn't Eat Pork. But it was the idea in the Bible not eating pork, and how the bacteria in that can can change the way you feel.
Yeah, because a lot of people be like, what are y'all talking about?
Yeah,
but I mean, just think about it. Some of the stuff you eat, how you feel after it. Because a lot of things, Sunday, big meal after Sunday, after church, you be like, I'm going to bed.
So many people overeat. Like
I overeat.
when we're little, we're always trying, you better finish what's on your plate. But I mean, like, you shouldn't be filling yourself to where you feel sick every time. You should you should eat until you're satisfied.
Satisfied, yeah. And a lot of people eat. My wife was showing me this too. We eat sometimes even when, because our body doesn't know the difference between thirst and eat. So it's your body's thirsting water.
Yeah.
It wants water. So we go out there and go get a hamburger and fries and a large drink because you were thirsty. And your body's like, I need water. And you're just like, man, I'm hungry. And it didn't know the difference. Right. So
I've noticed that a lot of times, you know, if I start feeling hungry, and usually this is when I'm bored, just drinking a bunch of water will, you know, what do you call it? Satiate that hunger.
And drink a whole bunch of water, you can't really eat nothing on top of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been trying to change our diet. That's another way to change your life. Change your diet. Change your life.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it just comes down to changing your relationship with food. A lot of times we attach so much emotion to food and how it makes us feel. So, another cool thing that my brother and I have tried to start doing more is active eating. So when you're eating, you know, in between bites, put your fork down, chew it, chew it up real good. Because a lot of times we're chewing up, or we're not chewing up, we're swallowing too big of pieces, and it's hard for our stomachs to digest. But if we're aware of how we're chewing and what we're eating, and if you eat slower too, you'll get fuller faster.
What is it? 5-minute crafts or something like that. They did a thing on eating. I was showing it to my daughter. It's like also put down the electronics and stop watching TV while you're eating because you're like, and you don't even know when to stop. You don't stop until the program is over. Yeah. And one thing that you could do if you waited, you'll eat faster or slower, or you'll finish it and you'll concentrate on what you're doing, or so you can get to what you wanted to do, or there's a whole bunch of things to it. Now, I'm bad at this, trying to remember, but when I go to a restaurant, what I want to do is eat half of it and then save the rest of it for later.
That's good. That's good.
That'll be, well, what you're supposed to do, which I always forget, is when I order something. Say if I go to Olive Garden, I want some spaghetti. I get some spaghetti. I'm supposed to cut it in half automatically. Well, when you bring it out, bring a to-go box too, and cut it in half, put it in there, because what they give you is enough.
It's a lot.
If you got half, that's more than enough.
Yeah.
And usually they give you the never ending, so they're gonna fill you up anyway. But
along with all those breadsticks,
so much stuff. And if you just took half of that, you'll be satisfied. You didn't eat the whole plate, and you're not feeling like, I got it. I need a wheelbarrow. I need a wheelchair to get out of here. So,
one thing that I've started doing is trying to eat more of a keto-based diet. So eating more meats and greens, and I also try to do intermittent fasting. So I usually skip breakfast, but in the mornings, I'm drinking a lot of water. What else do I do? I drink yerba mate tea, which has antioxidants in it and things like that. That also relieves that hunger that you feel in the morning.
Yeah, what we do a smoothie.
Yeah.
So it's like we're eating. I use blueberries, bananas, some strawberries, and some fiber. Add a little supplement to it, but don't even want to sit down for pancake breakfast.
Yeah.
But it's been an hour.
Man. Went by quick.
So we're gonna sign off of this, but we're gonna keep talking. But I just want to say I love you guys.
Yeah, be sure to tune in to the podcast coming out soon.
Yep. And
go join the community of success.
Brandon Poole Elevation.
That's right.
Now you closed your group too, so
I did.
You
Trying out some new
ask,
things.
You have to ask to get into that. For mine, I'm opening mine, but it's going to be closed on the website, so you'll see. I'll put advertisements on there, but you can get to it through Facebook, or once you try to go into it, it'll say you have to sign up, and then there'll be steps to that.
Cool.
But it's there, but it's not ready yet, so I might not respond to you with the actual login and password.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you can find my Facebook group, Elevation Mastermind. You can also find the podcast all at my website, brandonpoole.co.
Cool.
Yep, .com was taken.
It's going all different ways now. It's hard to find a .com.
Yeah.
I got lucky because I use like so much of my name.
Mm-hmm. Jeff D. Banks.
Mm-hmm. And there's a bunch of Jeff Banks out there.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, even my glasses designer is named Jeff Banks. So. Yeah. But you guys have a great day today.
Yeah.
I'm trying to turn it up from there.
You got to do it up there.